The role of research and statistics in psychology. Abstract. Psychology would not exist as a science without the disciplines of research and statistics. Research plays a very crucial role in the field of psychology because it is the medium through which various psychological theories are either proved or disproved. Whatever knowledge about the brain and human behavior that is available today is primarily a result of extensive research and experiments. Statistics, on the other hand, helps to determine the validity and significance of psychological research based on the aspect of probability. Research in statistics therefore enhance a psychologist's ability to evaluate and understand various forms of human behavior as well as to critically evaluate the findings brought forth by others towards the research process. Introduction. Many students of psychology fail to understand why they have to first take a course in research methodologies or statistical methods, a course that is reputed for creating boredom and fear within a classroom. But these students must be taken through psychological study in such a way that they are not only consumers of this psychological knowledge but also become reliable producers of the same. Because psychology is about everyone's life, a psychologist must learn how to actively participate in research by not only challenging and supporting different psychological truths, but also by doing so using scientifically deduced evidence, and which has also been very carefully gathered and has undergone critical testing. The role of research and statistics in the field of psychology. Research is a term that has been coined to describe the systematic process through which problems are resolved, answers to certain questions arrived at, or even certain phenomena understood at greater length through the support of certain data. The main purpose of conducting research is not to reaffirm available knowledge, but rather it is a means of adding to such knowledge by making inquiries into the things that we do not know, a process that is guided by a specific research question, a problem, or a hypothesis. Information about any particular issue does not guarantee absolute knowledge of the same, and research is therefore carried out using certain methodologies in order to come up with substantial information or results. The scientific method is the principal method used by researchers. The scientific method refers to those principles that provide guidance to a researcher, starting from the development of research questions to collection of empirical evidence and finally getting answers to the research questions. This method has been referred to as the empirical method because of its nature of collecting data and using this data to come up with various theories of scientific conclusions. A scientific method is therefore the systematic, self-repeating, and continuous approach that is used in the collection, analysis, and understanding of empirical data. The psychological study progresses through the collection of evidence that either supports or contradicts certain theories or hypotheses. Through refutation or falsification, a theory is then either rejected or moderately refined to achieve the desired results. It is impossible for research psychologists to completely avoid statistical problems because statistical skills are an essential component of psychological training for the purpose of appropriate interpretation of research findings. Statistics refers to the numerical statements used to present data that has been taken from a sample, while at the same time referring to the discipline that aids in making as well as understanding these statements. There are two main types of statistics, namely descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. The former deals with the description of particular data sets, and the latter helps the researcher to infer such descriptions and to decide on their appropriateness. Data refers to information collected during a research process that is then analyzed and transformed to produce useful information and lead to certain conclusions. Research data can be classified as either primary data or secondary data. In primary research, a researcher gets into direct contact with persons, tries to seek answers to some specific research questions, gets their opinion, or engages in actual observation of their behavior. Secondary data, on the other hand, refers to any information that a researcher chooses to use but which has been gathered or developed by other persons apart from the researcher. Methods used to obtain primary data are such as surveys, questionnaires, and personal and telephone interviews. Computer-based interviews and direct mail are also used. This makes primary data collection a very tedious and expensive process, and one that is also time-consuming. Because secondary data has already been gathered by others, it becomes easily obtainable, therefore making the research process a bit faster. It is also less costly as compared to the structuring and fielding processes that are part of primary research. Primary data collection methods such as interviews, observation surveys, and questionnaires ensure a higher response because the researcher is directly involved in the research process. Interviews are, however, expensive and results can be influenced by the interviewer. The researcher, however, has no control over how secondary data was initially collected, how the research was designed and manipulated, or how research findings were interpreted and documented. Primary data collection methods such as direct mail surveys and computer surveys are accurate, convenient, have no interview bias, and preserve anonymity. However, they require some technical knowledge from the respondents and do not allow open-ended probes. Secondary data, on the other hand, gives room for improvement because it is based on previously assessed data. Technology and the internet have, however, led to an overflow of information, and researchers must now exhibit an ability to sort through several potential sources of data and ability to pick the best out of such sources. Conclusion. The research process is very challenging as it involves various steps that have to be taken in systematic order. Work carried out through these steps must be of high quality, as this will determine the quality of outcome in data analysis and report. Efficiency in these phases almost guarantees accurate analysis of the data collected.